Baptist Health, and by Everbank. Now, to get things started, here's JP Shadrick.
Welcome in, Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. No Fred Taylor this week. We're at the Hyundai Studios. Jaguars win in Nashville. Final score 10-6. Jaguars over the Titans. We've got plenty to get to. We'll hear from Bucky Brooks with head coach Doug Peterson coming up. But the Jaguars got late points, and the Jaguars defense got off the field on 3 different fourth down stops in this game today, especially the one late.
Yeah, look, Frank hit it. The move of the game was throwing the football to Brian Thomas Jr. in the second half, JP. I think it was, I don't know if it was the pregame or halftime, I said they should be throwing it to Brian Thomas 12 times a week for the remainder of the season. 60 targets. He got 12 targets today.
Yeah.
10 of them came in the second half. He caught 8 for 86 yards, and the Jags offense actually moved the ball a few times. I mean, it wasn't great offensively, but they finally figured out they've got to go to their best weapon and go to him often.
Yeah, they had a 14-play field goal drive. They had the 7-play touchdown drive, both of those in the fourth quarter after trailing at 6-0. And Jaguars get their 3rd win of the season, improving to 3-10. The Titans fall to a record of 3-10, and these two teams will play each other again in just a few weeks here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jags improved their divisional record to 2-2, and the 2 teams that they beat are still on the schedule out there. So as bad as it is, you're not as bad, at least for today, as your division rival, the Tennessee Titans. And, I mean, you talked about a bunch of guys who've been playing a lot of close games. Now, they've had their handful of blowouts as well, but the Jags have lost so many one-score games. When Tennessee gets the stop late, you're just thinking, is it going to happen to them again? But no, the defense rose up, and Will Levis really didn't do a whole lot on this afternoon. This is a Jags defense that has been the league's worst, and a team that you can kind of pick your poison running or passing against. And Tony Pollard had a really nice first half, not as much in the second half. Jags really did a nice job on the Tennessee passing game today.
And on the other side, too, Jaguars couldn't run the ball at all in the first half and then started to break away and get some in the second half. Bigsby finishes with 55, ETN with 20. It's not a monster day, but from basically 9 rushing yards in the first half, they finished the day with 71, not ideal, but it's something. They had to balance it out somehow.
Yeah, I think Bigsby was 6 for 4 in the first half, right? So 12 for 51, a little over 4 yards a pop, and he got in the end zone. Obviously, that was the deciding factor in the game. So they didn't abandon it entirely, despite the fact that it was going nowhere. And that and the combination of the patience there and kind of force-feeding it to Brian Thomas Jr. was enough on this day when, 10 fourth-quarter points. They didn't score a point until the fourth quarter, but they didn't give up, and they were able to pull it out against a division foe.
The Jags last won a football game at Wembley Stadium in London. It has been a while. They lost the next 4, had the bye week, lost another after the bye, and now it was a 5-game losing skid now snapped as the Jaguars go to Nashville and get the job done today over the Tennessee Titans. Final score, Jags 10, Titans 6. Plenty ahead. We're standing by to go to Nashville here in a little bit. We'll hear from Bucky Brooks with head coach Doug Peterson after a Jaguars victory. Record now 3-10 for both the Jags and the Titans as the Jags rally in the fourth quarter to get it done. 10-6 the final score. It's Jaguars postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Maximize your energy savings with a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Florida Home Air Conditioning, and you could save up to $4,500 through possible tax credits and other discounts. Purchase a new system today, and Florida Home Air Conditioning will buy back your old inefficient HVAC system. Request your complimentary consultation from Florida Home Air Conditioning, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit FloridaHomeAC.com for details, terms, and conditions.
License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
A quality replacement window made with Fibrance material, which is 2 times stronger than vinyl, delivered through a stress-free process. Welcome to Renewal by Anderson. Get the peace of mind knowing Renewal by Anderson handles everything from start to finish. With one call, you'll enjoy working with the best people, exclusive products, and superior process. It's the people, it's the process, it's the product. For a limited time, buy one, get one 40% off all windows and doors, plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 18 months. Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Hey fans, it's Tyson Campbell, cornerback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. This season, your game day is getting even tastier with Al's Pizza in the stadium. And every time we get a pick, you'll score. If the Jaguars get one interception, you'll enjoy buy one, get one free pizza at any Al's Pizza location Monday through Thursday after the home game. 2 interceptions, a free dessert. And 3 interceptions, that's a free appetizer. Just tell them you want the Jags pick. Up your game and get your Al's Pizza at the game or any of their locations.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. No Fred Taylor today. Jaguars over the Titans 10-6 is the final score. Jags improved to a record of 3-10. And finally, in one of these close one-score games, get the job done. They were 1-7 in these one-score games this year until today. Finally got over the finish line somehow. These are rarely pretty, but we haven't seen a lot of pretty play a lot of times this year. They've gone the wrong way late, but the defense did what they had to do late today to get out of this game, and turnovers on downs 3 different times. One of those down in the red zone inside the 10, and actually 2 of them were in scoring position because they had the long drive early in the game as well that didn't work out for them. So Jags defense, gave up some yards today, but got off the field when it mattered.
Yeah, one of the key moments in this game is when the Jags held Tennessee to a field goal on the opening drive. They were able to run it 8 consecutive times, picking up first down after first down, just moving it right down the field. And you thought, man, this is going to be maybe not a long day because the game went so quickly because they kept running it, but it's going to be a difficult day for the Jaguars at that point in time. And, they got the stop, held them to 3. And for a while, it looked like that might hold up. And Tennessee added a field goal. Jags kept them out of the end zone, JP. And just, Doug Peterson talked about wanting to win these last 5 games. And I think if you lose this game against this team on the road, you're given that effort. And clearly they gave effort until the final gun today. And if you come up short today, you wonder what that does to take the spirit out of this football team. But you're playing without your starting right tackle today. Cole Van Lannon comes in against a good defensive front 4 for Tennessee, and you did just enough to get the job done.
I don't want to, give away the player of the game vote I might have a little bit later, but there's a few candidates today on defense. Josh Hines-Allen had a sack in this game, but Jarian Jones seemed to be all over the field today for the Jaguars in the secondary, including a sack where he bent around the right tackle and got home for a sack, a couple passes to fence, and he's a young guy you want to see develop down the stretch here, rookie corner, and get those guys time and get them to improve somehow as we finish up.
Right. I mean, that's part of it, right? You want to win football games, but you also want to develop some of this young talent, and Jarian Jones is a guy who's going to be a big part of whatever Jacksonville is able to accomplish in the next several seasons, at least going forward here. And you've got to look at him as a long-term starter for this football team, and he showed up today, a week after getting tossed in the melee, and came right back, and obviously didn't let it affect him mentally or anything like that, and went out there, and like you said, he made as many plays today probably as he has in any game so far this year.
Confident guy, just hearing him talk this week with the media after everything that happened last week and talking through it and the reasoning behind it, and he might be one of those guys. Like, he needs some of those guys with a little different edge to them, and it seems like he has a little something to build on.
Right, they do have a team of nice guys. Is that fair to say?
There are a lot of nice guys.
And there are a lot of nice, and you don't want a bunch of bad actors, but you do want guys that do play with that edge, like you talked about. I think we got to go back as well to Bucky Brooks in those pregame comments about what he saw in terms of the level of energy on the field. And I don't know if they turned it around immediately by the opening kickoff, because when you do allow a team to run the ball down the field on you like that, I don't know what that says, either lack of execution, lack of something. But from that point on, that held them to that field goal. They only allowed 3 points the rest of the day. The offense didn't have any kind of spark, but the defense never let down. And that's got to be frustrating when you continually give the ball back to your offense and they're producing absolutely nothing for you. And look, granted, the Jags, it's been opposite at times this year where the defense has let them down. So I'm not saying that this has been a team that, were it only for a few more points, they have a much, much better record. But certainly some lack of execution in key moments, but they had it today. And were able to, put themselves in a position to hold off Tennessee on a not quite a goal line stand, but a first and goal stand, and then to punt it away to them after they got stopped and stop them on 4 consecutive plays. This is a team that was hungry for a win and glad they got paid off.
Jarian Jones today, 5 total tackles, a sack, and 2 passes defensed, and he's with Bucky Brooks in Nashville. Bucky?
Jarian, how's it feel to get a win?
Good. It feels really good. Needed one of these. Just got to stack the weeks and come prepared to go 1-0 next week.
Look, so you had an opportunity to go back there, man up, make some plays. What went into it?
It just feels great. Feels great to get back in the win column. It's been a while. Hats off to the players. Battled their tails off. Defense, I thought, all day kept us in the football game. Came up big with some PBUs, and obviously they're at the end. And yeah, offense, we got slow start, but we gained momentum as the game went on, and proud of the guys for 10 points in the fourth quarter, and obviously finishing the game that way. So hats off to those guys. They battled their tails off, and you can see all of my excitement right here.
Could you talk a little bit about just the reaction in the locker room to finally get the W?
It's excited. It's sort of a relief, right? It's the excitement, it's the joy of the work that you put in, and you're finally rewarded, right, for a win, and again, just so happy for the players, the coaches, just hanging in there, battling their tails off, and Tennessee, listen, it's a good football team too. I mean, they do some really good things, and just excited and happy for our guys.
Could you also just talk a little bit about the defense and the way they just kind of kept you in it, and especially Jarian Jones, 2 pass breakups and getting the sack on blitz?
Yeah, I thought in Jarian's case, just played really well down the stretch here in this game, and you talk about the couple pass breakups, and that sack was a thing of beauty. How he had bend and get around that edge, and get Will Levis on the ground. So I thought he did a really good job. And he just continues to get better each week. He works extremely hard. So a lot of good things about Jarian.
It took a while, but finally got Brian Thomas going there, and in the third quarter and the fourth, and that seemed when the offense sort of seemed to come alive, right?
Yeah, we tried earlier in the game to do some things that way. Tennessee took a couple of those options, away, and we just, we didn't get into a rhythm. But, it's what we got to do, right? We got to get Brian involved, and he's such a dynamic, young, first year receiver that is he's a great player. I mean, he's a great player. He's going to be a really good player in this league, and for he and Mac to make that play, it's kind of a broken play, scramble, that really got us down there, and just I think that was we scored the touchdown on that drive. Just great awareness by those two, but BT is just a solid player that continues to improve each week.
What did you see out of Mac Jones today? Getting the start, just kind of weathering all that storm, getting the fourth quarter and sustaining.
That's one thing about Mac. I mean, he just sticks to it. He grinds it out, and he's right there with all the guys. And the way he led our team, and really there was no panic, right? Nobody pointing the finger or anything. It's just we just had to tighten some things up and make a few subtle adjustments, and for him to lead us down there and get those 10 points, I thought. And then we had an opportunity before half too. With a 2-minute drive before half, we were in a position. I think we had a penalty and a sack there, knocked us out of field goal range. But he did some good things today and things that we can continue to build on.
How impressive was Trayvon's tackle there on the first goal line stand? It looked like a pretty good hold there on 2nd and goal from like the 2, and he just absolutely made a fantastic tackle there.
Yeah, that's Trayvon. I thought today, guys like Trayvon, Jarian, Mac, the guys we're talking about, BT, Tank, I mean, all these guys, every one of them. But, it's just the consistency of just continuing to do their job and ask what we've asked them to do. And in that particular play, Trayvon just did an outstanding job, just making a play. And then, obviously the 4th and goal, and late in the game to, come up empty there. Hats off to the defense for just the execution.
Could you talk a little bit about how you must think Mac must feel to get his first win for his hometown team?
I think you have to ask him, but I know he's going to be excited. I'm excited for him, to really lead our football team, and now he knows too, moving forward, that he can, he's going to be out there, he's going to be the guy, and. The second half of last week to this week, just some things that we can continue to build and he can build upon. But excited for him, obviously getting that first win.
What was Anton's issue?
Illness.
Last night.
A little bit last night and then all day this morning when he woke up. So it just wasn't sick, illness.
Cold and just sweat.
I thought for someone that woke up thinking he was going to be a backup to starting, I thought he played really well today. We'll take a look at the tape, obviously, make some corrections, but I think he played physical. He played good for being a backup to a starter within a matter of hours.
I know you talked about it before, but lose Trevor for pretty much the rest of the season last week, playing on the road, a disappointing season. Was there any part of you that was wondering how they would respond in a game?
Yeah, I mean, you're always wondering how they're going to respond. But look, I've been around these guys all season, and sure, I may not know. Nobody knows the outcome of a game, right? Until you play the game, but I know how these guys prepare during the week. I know how they work during the week, and so that's what gives you the hope that, hey, we're going to go out and we're going to get the job done, right? And we're going to play well to do it, whatever it takes. And listen, when you're playing Tennessee, it's never an easy game. I mean, it's a game that's always tough. It's physical. It's a battle, and I'm just so happy for the players and for the work that they've put in to finally get rewarded.
Okay, Coach. Thanks so much.
Okay, thanks.
Here, if we're going to get back in the game.
And they certainly did it, though. 12 targets, 8 catches, 86 yards for Brian Thomas Jr. in the winning effort today. Mac Jones gets the winning result. First time in a while for him as a quarterback as well. The Jaguars defense playing well today. 3 4th-down stops with the Jags D. And they get the job done. 10-6 the final score. Jags improved to a record of 3-10. Tennessee falling to a record of 3-10. And head coach Doug Peterson is with Bucky Brooks in Nashville. Bucky?
Coach, much better circumstances today. How do you feel about the win?
I got a smile on my face, Bucky. The last few weeks, I haven't had a smile.
much better. Coach, what went into winning today? Difficult circumstances in terms of like all the noise around the program. How'd you get you guys to play well today?
I just credit the guys, honestly, for the work that they put in. There's no quit in this team. It's amazing. It's amazing because I've been a part of teams in my past as a player, even coaching, where it'd be easy to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
Look to the off season, look to, jumping ship or whatever. But there's none of that. There is absolutely none of that. And so I'm so proud of the guys for sticking together, hanging together, finding a way. That's what we keep talking about every week. Find a way to win the game. Get it into the fourth quarter. A lot of these games come down to the fourth quarter, which a lot of our season has, and here's another one-score game that finally went in our direction, our favor.
Well, one of the things that win your favor, I've heard you say this before, players, not plays. And in the second half, this ball started going to Brian Thomas Jr., Tank Bigsby touched it. Did you make a concerted effort to make sure that those guys had an impact on the game?
We did. That was something that Preston and I talked about on the sideline, and it was – okay, so listen, you go into the game, you want to execute your game plan, right? You want to get things going, get everybody involved, what you can. But then at some point, you know what? We got to get BT the ball. We got to get, TJ and Tank going a little bit, find Evan. And so, yeah, we made a conscious effort to kind of switch gears and really focus on that. And it was successful for us. And we know, everybody's going to go, well, why don't you do that at the start of the game? Well, I mean, okay, yeah, we probably should. Maybe they're smarter than we are. But it's just I'm so happy for the guys, something that we can continue to build on.
Yeah, our observation for the sideline, it's funny because the energy certainly changed. And you can talk about a lot of things like at the end of the day, guys love winning. They love competing. They love being on the other end. And it was such a relief at the end to see them smiling, joking, and those things. So how do you take this win and then build upon it next week?
I mean, you just got to bottle up the feeling, and it's like obviously, you've heard the phrase, you gotta hate losing more than you like winning. Mm-hmm. But right now, I like winning, because it's been a while.
It's been a while.
And I'm just so happy for the guys, and we just got to continue this emotion that the guys feel and the excitement that was in this locker room before the game. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of stuff that we have got to continue with each week as we finish our season.
So look, you've been to the pinnacle, you've been to the top of the mountain, winning Super Bowls and those things. But even when you lose a bunch of games, like everyone has a level of insecurity or doubt or those things. How do you kind of cast that stuff to the side and still just focus on getting the team to lock in each week?
It's tough. It's difficult, and it's something too that I really rely on the leadership of the team.
Yeah.
In these moments and in those moments, and it's difficult, but at the same time, I feel like I got a good group of guys that respond well. And it's a credit to them. I quite frankly, like I said earlier, I mean, it would be easy to just wave a white flag, throw in the towel, whatever, and get ready for next year. But listen, there's a lot of pride on this team.
Yeah,
there's a lot of pride, and these next, counting today, 5 games, there's a lot of pride.
Yeah,
you're playing for a lot of things.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not. We know we're not playing for postseason stuff, but you're playing for your.
Just the satisfaction you get the first win for your hometown team at a bitter rival's home field.
Yeah, I think it's just a great example of sticking with it, and the defense really giving us a chance throughout the game, and the offensive line, Cole for stepping in there, first start. So just all that stuff was really good, and thought the guys responded, and we didn't quit this time, which is really important for us moving forward. There was no quit.
Could you talk a little bit about, I don't know how much more satisfaction you get from a play that works exactly as scripted, or a play that breaks down and you end up making something out of it?
Yeah.
Could you talk about that play and the throw to Brian?
Yeah, I think it was just a great job by him. We talked about it in scramble rules and stuff, and I kind of got stuck on one of my reads and, had to evade. Really, it was a good pocket, so I could have just stood in there and threw it, but I kind of made it harder than it needed to be. But it was a great job of him just catching it, and he had another explosive play before that on the deep crosser. So it was really just had to get him going, and I appreciate him for staying patient sometimes, I definitely feel like I could have got him the ball earlier to get him going, just a couple touches, and he was definitely open, so I'm sure I'll watch it and see that.
But you said you made it harder than you needed to be, but you did get out of it on the left side.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what created.
For sure, yeah. I have to watch it. I just kind of speak off instinct, and it's definitely something I've worked on, so I'm going to continue to grow in that area. And at the end of the day, like I said, our defense gave us a chance to be in that position, and at the end of the day, our best player made a good play.
You get thrust into this position here, obviously from a more unfortunate incident with Trevor.
Yeah.
But this is a start, your team, right? So
yeah.
Everything that's happened to you before in your NFL career.
For sure.
How does this like weigh on you? Is it a release?
Yeah.
Is it
I mean, I know it's really hard to win in the NFL, and I've learned that the hard way. And I've always, followed that mantra of just a win's a win, and you can play really well and lose, and play not so good and win, and it just takes that one or two plays each game. So I told the young guys that's the learning lesson here, and I feel like we played with a little bit more swag today, and I know we're going to continue to do that. Offense, defense, and special teams, we're not going to be scared, so we just got to keep that going.
Thomas with a career high targets, 11, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Was there intention to get him involved?
Yeah, I think just as the game went on, he did a good job getting open. He was open all game, but I just kind of have to give him the ball earlier and let him settle in. As a rookie, I've been there. You want to get some catches, get going, feeling good, and all the other guys too. Like they're making plays and running backs and Tank on that touchdown and stuff. So we just got to find a way to be a little bit more consistent. But like I said, we didn't roll over and quit this time, and that's important.
First half, obviously. How did you guys not?
Yeah.
I guess let that affect you.
Yeah, for sure. Great question. I mean, I've been there a lot of times, and I've played not so great in the first half and kind of let it affect the next half. And I told the guys and I told myself that I'm not letting that happen today. And we kind of just went out there and responded, and it all comes down to communication. I think sometimes, you're not talking with the guys if stuff's not going good. You just got to keep pushing and play each play, one play at a time. And they definitely responded. So I definitely got to watch it and get better. But at the end of the day, that's the NFL.
You went to Brian on 3 straight plays on the right side.
Yeah.
2 sideline, and the other time where he went in motion.
For sure.
To the right side. I mean, is that just an example of why he is the best player? Because you don't usually go to the same guy 3 straight times.
For sure. Yeah, and they were doing, as always, the defense was going to do things to take him away. But he still found a way to get open, and we had time with the offensive line. I thought they did a great job. I don't think maybe it was 1 sack. I don't know, but something like that. So that's really good. As a quarterback, you feel good back there against a really good defense, a well-coached defense that will play again here soon.
Could you talk a little bit about, whether it's relief or just feeling like you got a monkey off your back to be able to get the first win for your hometown team?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as I said, I remember when I was a younger player and we would win and maybe I didn't play as good or whatever, and I wasn't as happy. But once you win in this league, it's amazing. It's just a great feeling, and you want to do it again. So 1 win's not going to define anybody. 1 loss isn't going to define anybody. So you just got to keep moving forward and, like I said, play with the swag that we did today. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Matt.
Available soon at Jaguars.com and Jaguars YouTube. Time now for the Kingfish Pest Control defensive play of the game. There were plenty of options, some 4th down stops, but, Mike, I'm going to go with the Jarian Jones sack.
I know you are.
It's a fantastic play. Blitz, went around the right tackle, the bend to get there, big moment on a 3rd down. That's the Kingfish Pest Control defensive play of the game. Let the pros tackle the pest in your home by going to kingfishpest.com. That's kingfishpest.com. We'll return in a moment. Brian Sexton in studio with us when we come back after a Jaguars victory. 10-6, the final score of the win over the Tennessee Titans. Jags now 3-10, and it's Jaguars postgame on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room. now called The Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents in 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A. member FDIC.
Something happens when you begin to believe. What seems way off in the distance gets closer.
You focus on what needs to get done, and you'll let nothing get in your way.
Next year becomes this year, and maybe next time becomes now. A whole city will rally behind you and begin to believe too.
Because when you believe, the unbelievable can happen. We believe in justice for everyone, and we believe we're the attorneys to help people get it. Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jaguars. Jacksonville.
A gift this good takes a while to unwrap. Get your best gift ever during the Toyotathon sales event before it's too late. Lease a new 2024 Toyota RAV4 LE Hybrid for $359 a month for 36 months. Offer valid through January 6, 2025. Well-qualified lessees with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. $36.58 due at signing. No security deposit with select equipment. $350 disposition fee. Excludes tax, tag, registration, title, and dealer fees. See dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC continues. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, no Fred Taylor this week. Brian Sexton in with us, though, in the Hyundai Studios after a Jaguars win over the Titans. A rare win in Nashville. It was not pretty, but it is a W today, Brian.
Yeah, I've heard from some people already, well, they pushed themselves down the draft board. Fine. It's not like you're trying to get number one for the quarterback. There's too many young players on this roster, too many young guys that need to have that taste of winning. For a guy like Jaguars Jones, and I know you guys have talked a lot about him today, Monteric Brown stepped back in there in a bigger way after last week. A lot of young guys need to win here at the end of the year. And so that's why this win was important.
Yeah, Brian Thomas among them.
Oh, yeah. Not the least among them, right.
And, going back to Doug Peterson's comments in the couple of segments ago when he said to Bucky Brooks that, we kind of changed the game plan and decided we needed to go to Brian Thomas. He goes, well, I'm sure a lot of people out there are going, why wasn't that the game plan? I guess you're smarter than me. Why wasn't that the game plan? I'm sorry. Why isn't that always the game plan with what this team has right now? It's shocking to me that you would say we had to switch the game plan to go to our best player on offense. That stuns me. Like, why?
Got to sell. Let's get him on. That's a question I want to ask. I hope that's a question that will be asked in his news conference tomorrow afternoon. Why would you do anything but try to get the ball to him? And listen, I'm sure he has answers for it. But when you see number 7 without the ball in his hands, to their defense, though, I think he was the most targeted player, was he not, a dozen times today?
Yep. Well, he was targeted twice, though, in the first half.
Yeah, not nearly enough.
And then they decided we need to go to Brian Thomas Jr. I'm glad they did, but almost too little too late, as, he had no points going into the fourth quarter today. But he caught 8 in the second half, and I don't know if it was pregame or I can't remember why I said they should get him the ball, 60 targets in the final 5 games. Well, they're on pace. They got him 12 targets today. That should be every week for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I like that.
He's happy.
He is.
I'm happy that they woke up and figured it out.
I don't know why you wouldn't. I can't think of a single reason why you wouldn't.
I couldn't either.
Let's take a look at the final stats for this game today. Team statistics, Jaguars led the way in total yardage, 291 to 272. Rushing yardage, 126 to 71 in favor of the Titans. Jags had 9 rushing yards in the first half of the game. Passing net, 220 to 146 in favor of the Jaguars. Jags were really good on third down in the first half. They finished the game 6 of 13 on third down. Tennessee 8 of 16 on third today. Penalties, 5 for 39 yards against the Jaguars, 4 for 25 against the Titans, and 31 minutes, 44 seconds in favor of Tennessee, the time of possession in this game. Jaguars turned it over twice, 2 interceptions from Mac Jones in the first half, but they come away, even with a -2 turnover margin. They get the victory, 10-6 the final.
All right, some individual numbers. Mac Jones, 23 of 31 on the day, 220 yards through the air, no touchdowns, pair of interceptions, which resulted in a 66.6 quarterback rating. On the other side, Will Levis, 19 of 32, only 168 yards, no touchdowns, but no interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 73.4. Tank Bigsby got going to some degree in the second half after only having 4 yards at halftime. He ended up with 18 carries for 55 yards. He got the lone touchdown in the game. Tony Pollard went over 100, 21 carries for 102, but the way they opened up the day looked like he might go over 200 yards. And obviously no rushing touchdowns for the Titans. Brian Thomas Jr., 8 catches on 12 targets for 86 yards. Travis Etienne was really the offense in the first half, caught 4 for 50, didn't catch any in the second half. Calvin Ridley on the other side had 7 for 59 to lead the way for Tennessee. Sacks on the day for Jacksonville. We talked about Jarian Jones. Josh Hines-Allen also had a big one on the final play of the first half that you don't know if that injury to Will Levis impacted him at all in the second half, but it certainly might have, and that might have been a key play in the game why the Jags were able to hang on defensively, not allow anything more than a single field goal in the second half today, and they come away with that 10-6 win.
There you have it. Final statistics today. We're back in a moment. We've got plenty ahead. We've got the Jaguars Radio Network Player of the Game voting still to come. After a Jaguars victory 10-6, the Jaguars Radio Network is presented by UF Health. University of Florida Health is the proud healthcare partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's Jaguars Postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Maximize your energy savings with a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Florida Home Air Conditioning, and you could save up to $4,500 through possible tax credits and other discounts. Purchase a new system today, and Florida Home Air Conditioning will buy back your old inefficient HVAC system. Request your complimentary consultation from Florida Home Air Conditioning, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit FloridaHomeAC.com for details, terms, and conditions.
License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Hey fans, it's Tyson Campbell, cornerback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. This season, your game day is getting even tastier with Al's Pizza in the stadium. And every time we get a pick, you'll score. If the Jaguars get one interception, you'll enjoy buy one, get one free pizza at any Al's Pizza location Monday through Thursday after the home game. 2 interceptions, a free dessert. And 3 interceptions, that's a free appetizer. Just tell them you want the Jags pick. Up your game and get your Al's Pizza at the game or any of their locations.
It's the Get Holiday Ready sales event with Hank and Sam from the Ford crew. Today, a new shipment of inventory.
Hank, what's going on?
Another hauler full of new Ford trucks and SUVs, Sam.
So much SUV capability. Is that?
Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 47 years. And a big selection means...
Big savings?
Yep, which means...
It's the best time to buy?
Well done, Sam. And time for America to get holiday ready with Ford.
Based on 1977 to 2023 CY Industry reported total sales.
Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Brian Sexton. We're at the Hyundai Studios. After a Jaguars win over the Tennessee Titans, 10-6. It's been a while. Last Jaguars win was in London at Wembley. And, wow, yeah, think about that.
2 months ago.
A lot of close losses in that time. Well, some blowouts, but a lot of the a loss is a loss, and they've lost a lot of them this year, 10 total, but their third win of the season today. Time now for the Jaguars Radio Network Player of the Game voting. I get a vote, Mike gets a vote, Brian gets a vote and a half. Why not?
Really?
Just to mix it up in case we
I'm not sure I want it today.
Can't have a tie?
Well, you make him go last.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna set this up for.
Okay.
I know who you're voting.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go last.
I'm going to go with Jarian Jones because I
think that's fair.
I jumped on that earlier, and I just thought he flashed a good bit today on the defensive side of the ball. On a blitz, gets home for his first career sack, had 2 passes defense later in the game. especially after last week, everything that went down, and just hearing his response outside of the locker room this week, you kind of like his energy and the way he goes about it, and I think he's ascending a little bit as the season goes along, and today I think was evidence of that. So Jarian Jones is mine.
Yeah, being honest, you drew me to your side in the voting, but I'm not going to go that way because I want to leave a little mystery, see what Brian does here, and I'm going to go with whoever decided to throw it to Brian Thomas.
Okay.
Actually, I'll go with Brian Thomas because he is the most impactful player this offense has, and you saw it, whether you can call it forcing it to him or just refocusing where your offense wants to go. He caught 8 of 10 targets in the second half, helped move the ball. He didn't score the touchdown. He didn't make any of the stops, but he was the consistent piece of the offense that got him going, I thought, in that half. So I'll go with Brian Thomas Jr.
I'll go with the same player.
Okay.
I'll go with Brian Thomas Jr. Now, I was leaning towards Mac Jones because he was calm and cool and collected and led that 7-play, 81-yard drive, mostly throwing the ball to Brian Thomas. But on a day which it didn't go well for him, he threw the 2 interceptions, which is ultimately why I didn't give it to him. He was a calm and steadying force in that second half. I thought his relaxed nature served him well today, but I thought that Brian Thomas Jr. had a couple of clutch catches, and so I'm going to give it to him for those 2 scoring drives where he made big catches to get the team down the field. But I could have gone with you too, because Jarian Jones, he had some juice today. It was fun to watch him. I think he's a nice player.
Yeah.
A guy really to get excited about his future.
You guys both picked Brian Thomas.
Yes.
Brian Thomas Jr. is the Jaguars Radio Network.
Congrats, Brian. I know it helps make this day even sweeter.
Big day. This is going to go on the mantle.
Does he get a check for that?
What you've been waiting
so.
for.
No. Unless you're writing it. Go ahead.
No.
Bring your
not.
checkbook with you today?
No, but
Yeah.
no. I'll grab some candy out of Amanda's jar as I go to the locker room tomorrow and present it to him.
If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, look no further than Ford F-150, loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between. This truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The injury report when we return. It's a 10-6 Jaguars win over the Titans, and it's Jaguars postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Maximize your energy savings with a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Florida Home Air Conditioning, and you could save up to $4,500 through possible tax credits and other discounts. Purchase a new system today, and Florida Home Air Conditioning will buy back your old inefficient HVAC system. Request your complimentary consultation from Florida Home Air Conditioning, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit FloridaHomeAC.com for details, terms, and conditions.
License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Hey fans, it's Tyson Campbell, cornerback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. This season, your game day is getting even tastier with Al's Pizza in the stadium. And every time we get a pick, you'll score. If the Jaguars get 1 interception, you'll enjoy buy one, get one free pizza at any Al's Pizza location Monday through Thursday after the home game. 2 interceptions, a free dessert. And 3 interceptions, that's a free appetizer. Just tell them you want the Jags pick. Up your game and get your Al's Pizza at the game or any of their locations.
A quality replacement window made with Fibrex material, which is 2 times stronger than vinyl, delivered through a stress-free process. Welcome to Renewal by Anderson. Get the peace of mind knowing Renewal by Anderson handles everything from start to finish. With one call, you'll enjoy working with the best people, exclusive products, and superior process. It's the people, it's the process, it's the product. For a limited time, buy one, get one 40% off all windows and doors, plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 18 months. Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
It's the Get Holiday Ready sales event with Hank and Sam from the Ford crew. Today, a new shipment of inventory.
Hank, what's going on?
Another hauler full of new Ford trucks and SUVs, Sam.
So much SUV capability. Is that?
Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 47 years. And a big selection means...
Big savings?
Yep, which means...
It's the best time to buy.
Well done, Sam. And time for America to get holiday ready with Ford.
Based on 1977 to 2023 CY industry reported total sales.
Jaguars fans, huddle up. Do you own a vehicle made in the last 10 years? If your car is outside of factory warranty or with no warranty coverage, get the best defense against expensive auto repairs with CarShield, the official auto protection partner of the Jaguars. With plans to fit every budget, CarShield helps you cover up to 5,000 parts and systems. Call 800-471-1223 now or go to carshield.com/Jaguars. That's 800-471-1223. Coverage varies by plans. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC continues. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, no Fred Taylor today. Brian Sexton in with us at the Hyundai Studios after Jaguars win 10-6 over the Tennessee Titans. And the injury report is presented by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, the official sports medicine provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's see, a few names. Some offensive linemen were limping around, according to the guys in the broadcast today. Ezra Cleveland at one point in the second quarter. Mitch Morris a little slow getting up at one play in the third. Savage in the fourth quarter was evaluated for a concussion, but then cleared and came back into the football game. Those are the major ones. Nothing really major today, I guess. Yeah. That's the good sign. And then
for the offensive line in particular, because they've played all right the last couple of weeks, right? They haven't done nearly enough in the running game as you'd like them to do, but they've given the quarterback plenty of time to throw the ball. I think he gets sacked once today, but a loss of no yards. So I don't know how you call that a sack.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
Sack for no gain.
He had time to throw.
And one more, Anton Harrison, late scratch, illness, and then Cole Van Lannon goes in there and plays in his place. And for the most part, I don't remember anything really blowing up.
No, I think that to Brian's point, right? I mean, with the, a shift that you're probably not expecting if you're Cole Van Lannon when you wake up on Sunday morning to only allow the one against a pretty good front four. Not a bad job.
And all the guys that were questionable at the end of the week on the game status all played in the game today. And from what we understand, at least right now, nothing really popped up that we saw during the game today. So there you go. That's the injury report of guys that are active. Of course, we know what's going on with the quarterback. He's done for the year. And this will be Mac Jones' starting role the rest of the way at that position. We're back in a moment. Our final thoughts, a preview of next week's game. After a Jaguars win 10-6 over the Tennessee Titans, it has been a while, and it's Jaguars postgame on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with Everbank. Open an Everbank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
A gift this good takes a while to unwrap. Get your best gift ever during the Toyotathon sales event before it's too late. Get 3.99% APR for 36 months on the new 2024 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. Offer valid through January 6, 2025. Zero down for well-qualified buyers with approved credit and financing through Southeast Toyota Finance. $29.52 monthly payment for every $1,000 finance. Excludes tax, tag, registration, title, and dealer fees. See dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jaguars Radio Network presented by UF Health. University of Florida Health is the proud healthcare partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Brian Sexton from the Hyundai Studios after Jags win 10-6. 3-10 record now for the Jaguars. Next week, back home, the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers and company come to town. They just lost in overtime to the Miami Dolphins today. The Jets aren't very good. The Jaguars aren't very good, but they won today, and let's see Aaron Rodgers in this place next week.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What else you got for us,
I really don't ever want
Brian?
to see him, right? Even though I know he's not having that kind of a season. And it's another big test because that defense is talented in New York. They haven't been talented enough to be the difference maker this year, but there are guys that can make it very difficult.
True.
Yeah, got to see who's healthy for that team, too. Sauce Gardner didn't play today. Breece Hall didn't play on offense. Those are some big-time players for that team. And, you got to wonder what their mental state is at this point because they blew another one. I mean, they were leading most of this game, had an 8-point lead going into the fourth quarter today, allowed Miami to come back, tie it up, got a 2-point conversion late, and then just march right down the field in overtime.
I'm curious, JP, what success does for this team. Listen, they had been fighting. I'm not taking that away from them, but they had not been playing very well. All of a sudden now you find a way to get a win. Does that give you some juice? I mean, I'm sure we'll think we're seeing it on the practice field and in the locker room, but does it translate to the field against the Jets next Sunday? Maybe they'll have something here. And that helps with something to play for in games that are otherwise meaningless except for the draft order.
Right. Jets this coming week and then at the Raiders and, of course, the Titans again back here to Week 17. They'll finish up at the Colts. That's what's remaining for the Jaguars. 4 games to go. A win today, 10-6 the final score to improve the record of 3-10 for the season. For those on our flagship station, 1010XL in Jacksonville, stick around. The Scoreboard Show is next. We'll take your calls, reaction after Jaguars' victory today. Thanks to our entire crew, and thanks to you for listening. This has been Jaguars Postgame on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome to the Jaguars Scoreboard Show. This is your chance, Jaguars fans, to sound off about today's game. The Jaguars Scoreboard Show is brought to you by University of Florida Health, Farah and Farah, Baptist Health, and by Everbank. Now, waiting to hear from you, here are Mike Dempsey, Bucky Brooks, and JP Shadrick.
It's been a while.
Say it.
Scoreboard.
Hey, there it is.
It's the Scoreboard Show.
It's only the third time this year since I've been on the Scoreboard Show that I've got to hear that.
Yeah, you're right.
I'd like to hear it more.
Hey, guess what? You know what that means? Victory Monday shirts for both of you.
Oh, boy.
Next week. I'll
Sweet.
bring them
I
with me.
can't wait. I didn't realize that was a perk.
Well, you got to win before you can hand out the
And
Victory
you actually
Monday
you
shirts,
you have a surplus of them this year.
We have a few more left over
Yeah.
at this point. Than
You
we
don't think you're going to get rid of all of them before the end of the season?
well,
Is that what you're trying to say?
you know what? They don't have a date on them, so they'll be good for next year, too.
10-6, the final score. 355 NFL won the number 355-6351. Your call's coming up, but hey, the defense gave up 2 field goals today. They gave up a couple long drives, got off the field on 3 different fourth down stops in this one, and the offense didn't do anything really in the first half. Found a way to do something in the second half by throwing it to Brian Thomas and finding the end zone when they needed to.
So you're saying that might be something they can do next week too?
I have a feeling that worked well enough you might want to try it again.
Okay.
What do you think, Mike?
From the opening whistle
Oh, no,
to the end of the game,
not just
man.
a second half adjustment.
No question about it, right? Like we changed the game plan and went to Brian Thomas Jr. All right, you know what? Whatever. It didn't come too late. it almost came too late, but just got enough done, and 10 points in the fourth quarter. Again, credit to the defense for keeping them in there. JP, you were the one guy to vote for a defensive guy for defensive player of the game, or for player of the game.
Got to get them in while you can. They haven't played well on defense
right about
this
that.
year, so got to do that. And hey, they got the job done. They snapped a 5-game losing skid, and we heard Doug Peterson, obviously, in fantastic mood. He wants to win these games and get something going down the stretch here. And then you heard from Jarian Jones and Mac Jones. And yes, I mean, wins matter in the league to players and coaches. That's what these guys work for every week.
Yeah, and listen, and Mike, we can talk about draft order and where that fits, but there's just so many players on this roster for whom winning at the end of the year like this is meaningful. Right? They need to have success so that they know what it takes, so they have a to-do list, if you will, of how they've got to get better. I mean, just a couple of them. Tank Bigsby and Parker Washington and Jarian Jones, Monteric Brown, DeAndre Prince, who I know is a name we don't talk a lot about. I mean, Ventrell Miller. I just started making, / Brenton Strange, Mason Smith, Jordan Jefferson. There's a lot of young talent on this roster, and I know you can say, listen, if you get Travis Hunter, you got a difference maker, and I totally understand that, and I know we're going to hear that. You'll hear it all week.
Oh, yeah, look, I get that from a fan's point of view. Look, I want the Jags, I said this week, I'd love for them to win out and get the first pick, right? It's not going to
lose out and get the first pick. Yeah.
No, win out. I'd love for them to win as many as they
I
can.
see what you mean.
And let some other teams win some games.
Have your cake and eat it too.
Right. There's no reason why you can't have a high pick. Now, the way the Raiders and the Giants, for instance, are finding ways to blow games creatively every single week, I don't think you're going to get that kind of help. But that's a different category than the roster of this team and this coaching staff. These players are never thinking about the draft, nor should they. Their job is to go out there and perform and win some games, not just lay down and just say, let's get to vacation time and go to Cancun. That'll come regardless. So play as well as you can and try to build something positive that you can go into next offseason and say, this worked at least for the final month of the season.
And you might not have to be at number 1 to pick Travis Hunter.
You might not.
If the quarterback from Colorado is at the top of the list and he looks like he's the best quarterback in this draft, well, perhaps you could be at number 2 and get him.
Well, I mean, look, if the Giants and the Raiders are up top and they don't take quarterbacks, then, it's not a great quarterback class, but if you want to punt for another year, you don't know if you're going to be in position next year.
You got to keep swinging at that position.
The chips are going to fall where they're going to fall. And I said it this week on Jaguars Today. I always want the highest pick possible when you're eliminated. But I'm just going to root for the Jags to win every week because I'm never going to want to put myself in position to where they win a game and I'm disappointed about it, right? So if they lose, you go, okay, I have the fallback of draft position stays the same and they're kind of in control of things, but I don't want to go, oh man, so close to getting the result we wanted. So be happy. This is what they're playing for. You haven't had very many moments to celebrate this. And I do understand the logic of, hey, we're not going anywhere. Why shouldn't we get the highest pick? Well, you've had the top pick 2 of the last 4 drafts, and you find yourself in position potentially to get it again. It's no guarantee of anything.
They do have some things going for him, right? I mean, Mac Jones played better in the second half. I mean, he had a little something going. That's 2 games in a row with 2 fourth-quarter scoring drives, and in a position to win both of the last 2 games. The offensive line is obviously playing well enough to give him time to stand back there and throw. There's this newfound confidence in Brian Thomas Jr. Just throw it up and throw it at him 12 times a game.
Apparently he's good.
Yeah, apparently he is pretty good. And the defense seems like maybe there's some guys who can be opportunistic, as we saw today from Jarian Jones. So with the schedule that's left, why wouldn't you want to win? Why would you see anything but positive for this football team heading into the end of the year to have some wins?
You say that, but I too truly see the other side. I really.
Oh, no, I do too.
Look, this is a draft where most of the pundits say, if you're not in the top 5 or 6, you're not going to get a really premier player, and a couple of those guys are probably going to be quarterbacks. So you've taken yourself out of likely the offensive tackle market, and that's at least probably one of those premium players.
The Banks kid from Texas.
Yes, and maybe the guy from LSU as well could be in that range. But Travis Hunter is probably the gem, but he's not the only good player out there. The Michigan corner is really good, and he may not play offense for you, but
and the Michigan defensive tackle is really good also.
There are a lot of play. Look, the Jags need a lot of help.
You bet.
Right? No matter how many they win, and hopefully they'll have some gems sitting there waiting for him, but that's a long way off.
Yeah, it is, and there's a long time to talk about that after the season as well, between then and the draft. 4 months worth of time? I get it. Our rule on some of our shows is when the Jags are eliminated, draft talk can begin, so it has commenced.
I think it's fair. You know, I don't want to do it nonstop.
Right, there's still football
until late April.
Let's enjoy the football while we have it.
Absolutely.
It's only a few months a year. It should be more months a year, but it's not.
I won't say another word.
The Jags aren't.
I know the rules. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Well, no, it's okay.
No.
They're eliminated. So it's fine.
I'm being facetious. Yeah. I mean, I get it. But I'm trying to. I just got done writing quick thoughts, and they were two good quick thoughts for a change, right? I've been writing bad ones.
Imagine that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I didn't want to tell you. But
yeah, right. Yeah, no, listen, I get it. Yeah, I set myself up for that one. But one of them is winning matters. It does, no matter what. The game is about winning, and for this football team and these young players, you gain more, I believe, by all of these guys having success at the end of the year than by having a draft spot 2 or 3 spots higher than you might end up.
355-NFL-1, the number 355-6351. We'll take your calls when we come back. Jags win at 10-6 over the Titans. It's the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Join the Jaguars in Miami and Houston. Watch them win in Philly, Detroit, Nashville, and Las Vegas. All the other Jaguars games are just one short connection away. And if airport parking has you stressed, be sure to visit the Jax Airport website before traveling to the terminal. On it, you'll find information about the status of on-airport parking in real time. See if your favorite areas are available or if you need to call an audible. Visit flyjax.com for more information.
Jags fans, are you ready to upgrade your living space? Enter for a chance to win the ultimate furniture giveaway. You could enhance your home with a new sectional, queen mattress, or queen bedroom set, courtesy of Furniture Source. One lucky fan will receive new furniture after every Jaguars home game this season. Don't miss out. Enter today by visiting jaguars.com/sweepstakes. Jaguars.com/sweepstakes. Selections will vary by game.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show continues right now.
L1, the number 355-6351, the Scoreboard Show. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Brian Sexton. What you got, Mike?
Oh, we got a win, first of all. Haven't had that in a while. We have had Pierre in California most weeks, and he joins us here on the Scoreboard Show in victory. Pierre, you're on the Scoreboard Show. Go ahead, please.
Pierre,
you there?
Pierre, are you there? No, Pierre.
Hello.
Oh, hey,
there he is.
Hey, you're on the air. What's up?
How we doing, guys? How we doing?
Good. What's up?
Oh, man, it feels great to get a win, man. I just want to spread the love, man. You know, it's not been the season that we had so far, but, you know, I'm a ride or die, and I will be in Vegas to watch us. I want to call the show and let you guys know Merry Christmas, early Christmas. I love you guys. And Duval. I'm out, baby.
Duval. We love you, Pierre.
And merriest of Christmases to you, Pierre.
Vegas, baby. 2 weeks.
I have a feeling he was going to Vegas regardless.
Oh, I think so, too. I don't think he was missing out on the opportunity. And good for him. I mean, look, it's fun that there are Jag fans all throughout the country, you know, and some international folks out there as well. And when you're on the West Coast, you don't get too many opportunities to see your team in person. So if
you can do it in Vegas, of all places, don't miss that chance.
All the better. And, you know, we'll
better being spelled Bettor.
BET. There's a whole network called the Better Sports Network that focuses primarily
on betting,
on all that stuff.
Okay.
Yes, a little bit of fantasy football in there as well. All right, we got 355 NFL 1. Parker on the south side wants to check in next here on the Scoreboard Show. What's up, Parker?
Hey, guys. Hey, Sexton. This is an old buddy of yours. Merry Christmas to you guys.
Hey, Parker, how are you?
Doing great. Quick question. 4 games left. Let's say they win 3 out of 4. Go across. What's your percentage chance that the coaching staff comes back?
Thanks for the call.
I'll take it off the air.
All right, higher than it is now. I mean, look,
that's about all you can say, to be honest with you.
If you win 3 out of the next 4, you've won 4 out of 5 down the stretch. I don't see how it wouldn't be an increasing chance. And look, I have no idea what is in Shad Khan's mind. Really,
nobody does, because he doesn't talk on radio shows.
Correct. So, you know, is he sitting there thinking we've got to make a change? Maybe he was already in his mind thinking I'm going to show some patience. They've had 2 winning seasons, so we don't know. So I mean, I can't begin to tell you how that's going to impact Shad Khan's thinking.
I will, and I can't either. I think I've said on the show before, I don't know him any better than you do, in the sense of I can't get inside of his head. I'll refer you, though, to Doug's comment to Bucky in the scoreboard postgame.
Sure.
Yeah, we may get the names right. I'm just here. Cool. He said, "I'm coaching for my job." Well, okay. So that tells you that he thinks he's got a fighting chance.
And that he, you know, look, it seems evident, but that he wants it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a narrative out there that Doug Peterson be just content to ride off into the sunset and collect that money. I mean, I'm not saying that that's true at all. I'm just saying that, you know, fans project their own thoughts onto these players. We had people telling me that Trevor Lawrence didn't want to play anymore. He wouldn't return unless there was a coaching staff change. Well, that was wrong. That Walker Little would not sign here under any circumstances because in their mind they felt like he got jerked around because he was asked to play guard on occasion. And, you know, so other people have thought that that's how Doug's mindset is, like, hey, I can't lose, right? I've got a guaranteed contract through next year. Well, that just goes to show you don't win a Super Bowl without being a competitive guy.
You say project, I say interpret, because I think that people like to look at him on the sidelines and they don't see him losing his mind, right? They don't see him kicking over a bucket of Gatorade. And, you know, we once had a coach at halftime of a game break an overhead projector. It takes you back a ways to when there were overhead projectors.
Wow.
You know, in the locker room in St. Louis. And you just don't – that's not Doug's personality. And I think I've said on this show before, that's kind of my personality. I'm sort of the emotional guy. I kind of like that stuff. And I think it has its place. But that isn't always the way that this game works. Can you imagine Tom Landry or Chuck Noll ever doing that? And the two of them combined had 7 Super Bowls? No, you wouldn't. So I think that Doug is just that calm person. And by the way, that reminds me to say, you know, he took a lot of heat this week for not being more emotional in the aftermath of the incident last week.
I was going to say the same thing.
But what good would that have done? I mean, D'Amico Ryans showed a little emotion on Monday and put his foot in his mouth. And Doug didn't do that. Doug knew that it was more important to try to win the game and not to worry about who won the fight. And so I think Doug is very measured, but my conversations with him, off the record conversations with him, he wants this job.
Yeah, you want to win. You can't.
He wants to win.
Got to win. Let's come back. Plenty ahead. Plenty of calls ahead. 355 NFL 1, the number 355-6351. After Jaguars win 10-6 over the Titans, is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinder's home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinder's home. Visit DFHSalesEvent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's DFHSalesEvent.com.
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading healthcare and technology organizations nationwide to deliver workforce solutions. CSI prides itself on building meaningful relationships and provides personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your workforce solutions reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
Tackle your marketing needs with Kessler Creative. Providing direct mail services for more than a decade, Kessler has a wide range of services from small mailers to large banners and signs. Draft Kessler as your first pick to receive the best targeted mail list. Elevate your business and be on the winning team with Kessler Creative. Kessler Creative, results-driven marketing and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Hey Jaguars fans, are you tired of being late to the game because you're stuck in traffic looking for a parking space? Well, join the thousands of other Jags fans who already know the smartest way to get to Everbank Field is on JTA's Game Day Express. Shuttles run from 5 locations around Jacksonville. Passes start at $10 and are available exclusively on the MyJTA mobile app. Visit JTAFLA.com for full details. The JTA Game Day Express, where you're winning before the game even starts. Your Game Day Express is sponsored by the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens.
Football is back. Celebrate with a gay Duval meal deal. Score 2 Roller Grill favorites and a 20-ounce Coca-Cola soft drink for just $4.50. That means you can choose any 2 to pair with your Coke. 2 hot dogs, 2 tornadoes, 2 roller bites, or mix and match. Whether you're stopping for a quick snack or tailgating with friends, this is a victory for every Jags fan. Deal happening now through January 2nd, 2025. Stop by to purchase in store.
.355 NFL 1, the number 355-6351. The Scoreboard Show continues. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Brian Sexton from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center after Jaguars win 10-6. A rare win in Nashville. Jaguars get it done today, though, and snap a 5-game losing skid to improve to a record of 3-10. They are third in the division now. Third in the division. They have the tiebreaker over also 3-10 Tennessee.
And they see the Titans again, and they see the Colts again. But the Colts only have 7 losses, so you probably end up in third place if you beat the Titans.
Yeah,
probably so.
Can I throw this out real quick? I thought that today he didn't have the most impactful game in terms of statistics, but I thought that Trayvon Walker may have made the play of the game when he reached out and tackled Tony Pollard on the goal line, on the 2-yard line, with one arm and pulled him to the ground, and that set up 4th down and goal. And of course, they didn't convert on the pass. I think they were trying to get it to Jeffrey Simmons. But I thought that was a huge play. Walker finishes with 4 tackles and no sacks. But I thought that play in particular was as important to play in the game because you maybe have a completely different outcome if they get into the end zone to go up 10-0 there.
Oh, absolutely, right? I mean, kept it 6-0, and it was a 1-score game at that point in time. You felt like with the Jags, and that's why they went for it on 4th down, that you didn't know how many scoring opportunities they were going to get, and ultimately had to settle for the field goal. But that kept it a 6-3 game. It was very much within striking distance. You pointed that out when you first came in. You didn't say it on the air at the time because that's a good candidate as well for the defensive play of the game, no doubt.
Yeah, certainly was. Jaguars had a few of those today. Turnovers on downs. No takeaways, though. Still, that's one thing they just haven't been able to do at all this year. But they haven't done a lot of things well this year on defense. Today, though, they did enough, and they got the job done. They've been close in a lot of games this year like this, but they finally got over the top today. The Jaguars offense in the second half, fourth quarter especially, they had a 14-play field goal drive, 65 yards. Cam Little from 22 yards to get on the board for the first time to cut that lead in half, 6-3. Then the defense got off the field, 4 plays and a punt. That was the sack by Jarian Jones, and that set up 81-yard scoring drive, 7 plays. Tank Bigsby from 8 yards out to take the lead for good, 10-6. So the offense, as we talked about, sputtered in the first half. Couldn't get anything done in the running game. Threw to Brian Thomas twice. That changed in the second half, and they got a little momentum on the ground. They threw it to Thomas, and they got down the field a couple times.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think, part of the Brian Thomas thing could have been, the routes you want to see him run, those deep routes, when you've got a right tackle that wasn't expected to play at the last minute, you're playing with your backup quarterback, that maybe that's part of the reason why they said, hey, let's take that aspect out of it. Let's, maybe max protect once or twice, but let's try to get the ball out of Mac Jones' hands early. Did that in the first half, throwing it to ETN and throwing it to Ingram primarily. But, again, there's no reason you can't include Brian Thomas in that area of the field, just the short crossers. And
which they did,
turn the speed on.
They did that in the second half. They started including him. And, there's a lot of opposition shirts, different colored shirts. Today they were blue. Anywhere where 7 is, which tells you how alarmed they are by his big play potential. So just keep feeding him the ball. I think that's what I heard. Football's not all about food, but
if I'm the OC, I'm throwing it to him 20 times a game. So that's me. Malik Neighbors, his teammate at LSU, had a game this year where the Giants threw it 27 times in the whole game, and 18 of them went to Malik Neighbors. So that's a pretty high target share right there. I don't think we're going to get to that.
Did they win that game?
For Brian Thomas Jr.? It was early. I don't know if they did or not. I'm going to say probably not because they haven't won many games at all. So my guess is no.
One other guy, though, that deserves to see the ball more often because when he does get it in his hands, he converts. He makes some things happen. It was Evan Ingram, and he only had 6 targets today.
Yeah.
I think I would have liked to have seen him see the ball a little. And Brenton Strange had that one play for 21 yards, find 85.
But I think that was part of it because Etienne didn't catch the ball in the second half. He had his 5 for 40 all at halftime. And maybe Ingram had maybe 1 catch in the second half, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he had 2.
So I think they transferred those targets to number 7 is probably what they ended up doing. So
Commanders won that game over the Giants 21-18. It was week 2.
Okay, it was all right. Yeah. I knew it was early.
Yeah, and he threw it 28 times, and 18 of those were the Neighbors. 10 for 127.
So you're saying it can be done.
And a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to throw to Brian Thomas Jr. 2/3 of every drop back, but a little bit more.
12 a game.
12 a game is that's my mark. And I thought, man, I'm crazy. They're not going to come close to that today, but they caught up. So let's hope they wise up and start doing that from the first quarter on.
You hit it right on the nose today. And the Jaguars got the win today, 10-6, the final score. 355 NFL won the number, 355-6351. We'll come back with more of your calls after a Jaguars victory in Week 14. It's the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report. Our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Football is back. Celebrate with a gay Duval meal deal. Score 2 roller grill favorites and a 20-ounce Coca-Cola soft drink for just $4.50. That means you can choose any 2 to pair with your Coke. 2 hot dogs, 2 tornadoes, 2 roller bites, or mix and match. Whether you're stopping for a quick snack or tailgating with friends, this is a victory for every Jags fan. Deal happening now through January 2nd, 2025. Stop by to purchase in store.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Join the Jaguars in Miami and Houston. Watch them win in Philly, Detroit, Nashville, and Las Vegas. All the other Jaguars games are just one short connection away. And if airport parking has you stressed, be sure to visit the Jax Airport website before traveling to the terminal. On it, you'll find information about the status of on-airport parking in real time. See if your favorite areas are available or if you need to call an audible. Visit flyjax.com for more information.
Hey, Jaguars fans, are you tired of being late to the game because you're stuck in traffic looking for a parking space? Well, join the thousands of other Jags fans who already know the smartest way to get to Everbank Field is on JTA's Game Day Express. Shuttles run from 5 locations around Jacksonville. Passes start at $10 and are available exclusively on the MyJTA mobile app. Visit JTAFLA.com for full details. The JTA Game Day Express, where you're winning before the game even starts. Your Game Day Express is sponsored by the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens.
Welcome back. Scoreboard Show continues. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Brian Sexton from the Hyundai Studios after a Jags win 10-6 over the Tennessee Titans. Jags now 3-10, 355 NFL 1, the number 355-6351. What you got, Mike?
I got nothing at the moment, except for a little conversation about the right tackle.
Love that.
Today. Yeah, nobody on the line at the moment.
The phone lines are open.
Well, they are open at 355 NFL 1, but we wanted to talk a little bit about the job Cole Van Lanen did today. Again, this isn't the best pass rushing team in the National Football League, but when you get thrown in there, Brian, and you've got to start on very short notice,
right?
And maybe you had some inclination if Anton was under the weather yesterday, possibly. But for him to come in today and the Jags, again, the offensive line has not been this blight on this offense. You know, now there are issues. Short yardage running it has been a problem.
But they struggle to move the line of scrimmage forward.
Which is really what the most important thing in today's game.
Right.
All right. There are a lot of people that were calling all off season. And granted, the record is what it is, so you can't say anything has been great with this team necessarily. But a lot of people were just saying, look, we know the offensive line's the biggest issue here. They did nothing to address it other than Mitch Morse. Well, they did re-sign Ezra Cleveland, gave him a contract extension, and that was a guy that they targeted that they thought would be better than he was last year because he'd be healthier. He was a little bit beat up today, but he went through it. You went from Cam Robinson to Walker Little. Walker Little's been really good in the last month of football. Anton Harrison is the guy we counted on to be kind of the rock of the offensive line, and I feel like he's taken a little bit of a step back this year, but I think he's still a really talented guy.
I do too. It's important, to note, he came into the season with a shoulder from last year that was 100%, and he was excited about that. And early on this season, took the shot to the knee and has drugged that leg a little bit this year and played with a knee that I don't think we'll hear about until next offseason. That, well, he probably should have been on the injury report. He just toughed it out and practiced, and so we let him go. I think he's a really talented guy. He has not, at times, been as bad as it looks. Remember in Miami, that was Tank Bigsby who, on those back-to-back sacks on the key drive, had the wrong guy. But if a guy plays well, you see it. I mean, it just pops off the tape at you. And he hasn't popped off the tape enough this year.
No, but I think he's talented. And I don't think last year was a mirage.
Right.
And when I felt like he was the best offensive lineman they had. So now at least you go into the offseason, not saying you've got the best pair of tackles in the league, but it's certainly not. I don't think you look at that and go, oh, no, what are we going to do? You feel pretty good about the guys you have there. You feel pretty good about Ezra Cleveland. You're going to try to squeeze another year out of Mitch Morse, and we'll see what happens at the right guard position. But
are you going to try to squeeze another year out of Mitch? He's on the cap, but it's only $5 million.
Well, I guess it depends on what your options are, right? I mean, what's available in free agency, what presents itself to you at the time in the draft when you're on the clock. You may take a guy. Let's say you take a guy in the 4th round. Is he going to be ready? Javon Foster hasn't appeared to be ready. And, he didn't even move up to the swing tackle position with Cam Robinson being traded away. So, once you get past a certain point in the draft, yes, teams find linemen later, but you can't count on it necessarily.
I haven't looked enough at the draft to know if there are 3rd-round guys, but I always go back to Brandon Linder, who was an 8-year starter here and a really good football player that they selected in the 3rd round. And I would be looking for my center of the future. I mean, I like Mitch, and he was brought in here to improve the middle of the offensive line. It hasn't been much better in terms of converting on 3rd down and short.
Correct on that, but I think he's been better as a pass protector for sure.
True.
Okay, and I don't doubt for a second that you've got to find your center of the future, but that doesn't mean you still can't squeeze a year out of Mitch
you could
Morse,
get it.
right? And you bring him in with the idea that at least we know we've got a veteran who's been through the wars. He's ready to go if that's the direction. Now, if the young guy, whomever that turns out to be, can push it, or maybe a vet for all we know.
Well, I blindly here going to say I still think Cooper Hodges is a guard of the future for you. And I know he didn't get on the field as a rookie, and this year he was playing well in Philadelphia before he suffered the injury, but I think he's a guy that you can look at and say, hey, next year let's make sure we get him a good look and see if he can win that starting job.
Right, but there's no way you can count on that.
No.
Right.
I'm not counting on it.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Right.
Like, he'll be in the mix, but the right guard presents himself in the 2nd or 3rd round, and you're like, wow, this guy's, looks like a long-term starter for us.
Right.
Cooper Hodges, you don't have a whole lot invested in. You keep your fingers crossed, but 2 season-ending injuries where he's barely played any football.
Oh, I'm gonna use some of my extra picks. I'm gonna take the pick that I get for Cam Robinson that's likely to be a 4th-round pick. I'm gonna invest that in an offensive lineman. I'm looking for a center and a guard and a tackle in this draft. I want fortifications. I want to have a big, deep group of offensive linemen.
That Cam Robinson pick, though, doesn't transfer until 2026. I don't think, because you already own Minnesota's 3rd and 4th round picks because of the Brian Thomas trade.
Right.
They traded
26.
back. They picked up a 5th this year to turn into Keelan Robinson, and they have an extra 3rd and 4th.
All right, so
already.
then I'm using
one of those.
One of those for it.
I get the point.
You're right. The Cam Robinson thing is 2026, but I am desperate to strengthen the inside of my offensive line and my defensive line next year. I need more big bodies.
Preach.
Let's go. Now, I will say this, too.
How many can you do in 1 year? I mean, you can't do it all in 1 year, can you?
How many do you need, though, is the question. Like, if you look at it this way.
That's the question.
You have your tackles on offense, and you've got Ezra Cleveland, who's still a relatively young guy. So, like I said, maybe you get a year starting out of Mitch Morse. You draft a couple of interior offensive linemen that will develop. So you can easily get 2 there. The Jags are going to have like 10 picks next year. That's without any potential trade down. So if 2 of them go to the interior of the offensive line, and, look, for all the hand-wringing about Eric Armstead, he's going to be back next year. I mean, he cost you $16.5 million more against the cap if he's not on the team. He might as well be on the team. Yeah. I hope they just shift him a little bit more
spot,
permanently
Eric.
inside.
You're moving in. You can play the 5 technique We'd really rather have you at the 4 technique, but no more of the 7 and 9 stuff because, let's be honest, he lumbers off the edge. That's not what he does.
But edge then becomes a priority for this team as well. You got 2 really good guys, right? You got to have more guys in the pipeline. There's
a guy from Penn State. There's a guy from Georgia. Maybe that's where you are with your draft choice in the top 10.
Maybe. I mean, but, then you're probably drafting a guy who's not going to start, right? And at least for the next several years might not start. I'm not saying that's the worst use of draft capital because it is good to have a wave of those guys, but I don't know if you have as many holes in the starting lineup as this team has if they can afford the luxury of taking a guy who's going to primarily come off the bench.
They did that last year in the draft. The second-round pick hasn't started until the last 2 weeks.
That's different, though, to me than a top 10 pick.
Should be contributing, though.
Absolutely, and I think he's starting to, but
he had an ankle
I don't
injury
disagree with
and
you.
all that, yeah.
I don't disagree with you, but that's a position that you rotate really heavily. You had the 2 top sack guys as teammates coming into this season with 27.5 between them. The idea that you were going to draft an edge rusher and he was going to be on the field for more than 50% of the snaps was probably very unlikely.
Well, you do have a defensive coordinator that loves to rotate guys, so...
which is the irony of the whole Travis Hunter thing, in all honesty, and we don't know where this will end up, but Travis Hunter is a guy who never comes off the field on offense or defense, and I could just see, let's draft him and play him 70% of the defensive snaps, and that would be it, blow my mind.
Over on the sideline twiddling his thumbs. We're back in a moment, and our final thoughts after the Jaguars win 10-6 over the Titans. It's the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey fans, it's Tyson Campbell, cornerback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. This season, your game day is getting even tastier with Al's Pizza in the stadium. And every time we get a pick, you'll score. If the Jaguars get one interception, you'll enjoy buy one, get one free pizza at any Al's Pizza location Monday through Thursday after the home game. 2 interceptions, a free dessert. And 3 interceptions, that's a free appetizer. Just tell them you want the Jags pick. Up your game and get your Al's Pizza at the game or any of their locations.
How close can you get with Verizon Access? Front row close. Red carpet close.
Oh my God!
Backstage passes close. Playing quarterback for your favorite NFL team close. Okay, not that close. But watching from the sidelines close? You bet. Get into the experiences you love, like concerts, games, and exclusive pre-sales just for being a Verizon customer. Verizon Access. You're in. Woo! Learn more at Verizon.com/access.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Restaurant Orsay is a bustling French-American bistro focusing on classic French techniques with their chefs incorporating a traditional Southern influence. Celebrate life's special moments or just relax and enjoy their daily happy hour. Restaurant Orsay also offers full-service catering for any of your event needs. Restaurant Orsay, located in historic Avondale at 3630 Park Street. Visit www.restaurantorsay.com.
Welcome back to Scoreboard Show. Continues. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Brian Sexton after Jaguars win 10-6 over the Titans. Let's get a couple final calls, Mike.
All right, let's knock them out. Let's go up to Savannah. We've got Kevin next on the Scoreboard Show. Kevin, go ahead, please.
All right, thank you. I strangely seem to be hearing a little bit of hesitancy in giving Mac Jones any credit for a very good game. The starting field position that he had to deal with the entire game, the best starting field position was the 30-yard line. He was down to the 9, the 19, the 4, the 18, the 2, 11, and the 25-yard line. Those were starting field positions. I thought he did a great job getting the ball out quick. Everyone's saying the offensive line played such a good game. I mean, they did okay, but he was getting the ball out very quickly. And then we're talking about the 2 interceptions. One was on 3rd down and 16 to go from the Tennessee's 45-yard line. And he was going to be either sacked or he threw the ball up for a 50-50 ball to Brian Thomas. And Brian Thomas made a poor effort for the ball. But anyway, that was one of the interceptions, which you hardly fault him. It's almost like a punt. And the other interception, it was 2nd and 13 with 7 seconds to go in the half. He was being sacked, and he tried to throw the ball away. So both of those interceptions weren't really bad interceptions, and they weren't really bad decisions. I thought he played a really good game, got the ball out to the people that he scrambled one time, got a nice throw down to Brian Thomas. He played a very good game, and I think he needs more credit than what he's getting.
Well, we've heard from the Mac Jones fan club now. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't see it like that at all. That decision to throw the ball up for grabs with 1 second left, the only thing that can happen there is it goes pick six the other way. Terrible decision on Mac Jones' part. Eat it if you have to there, because you're not kicking a 65-yard field goal. You're not going to have any time. The time's going to run out. So the only thing that can happen on that play is bad. And to blame that throw, which was way underthrown, on Brian Thomas, he threw it into double coverage. There was not a peek at a window to throw it to Brian Thomas there. He finished with a quarterback rating of 66. And you think he had a good game. I mean, I'm sorry. I got a little higher standard than that. Against a team that gave up 42 points last week, and the Jags had nothing on the board going into the fourth quarter.
I'm not as passionate about it as you obviously are,
Clearly.
but I do want to point out to Kevin that I gave him a shout-out when we did our player of the game voting in the last hour.
We named him player of the game last week.
Yeah.
When he plays well, I'll tell you.
In the fourth quarter, he was calm, cool, and collected. He led the 2 long scoring drives for the second week in a row in the fourth quarter. I was impressed with him. I couldn't give him the player of the game because Brian Thomas Jr. was clearly the player of the game. But I gave him some credit, so we have talked about him.
Sure.
We just didn't go on ad nauseum about
look, the standard's got to be higher.
Agreed.
Than the offense putting up 10 points and the quarterback throws no touchdowns and 2 interceptions and saying he had a good game.
Yeah, there really
it's got to be a higher standard.
He had a game.
Kevin
He
led with
did
the word
play a game.
Right.
Yes.
Kevin led with the word hesitancy, which is projecting
that we don't want to give him
right.
credit.
We talked about him. We got to another place.
All right.
Seeing
it different.
They won 10-6. Go ahead.
Correct. Finally, Steve in Orlando gets the next shot at it. Steve, you're on the Scoreboard Show. Go ahead.
Before I moved out of town, still watch every single game, so go Jags. But Brian Thomas Jr., a couple of questions are related. Do you think his target numbers are low simply because they're not calling his number, or is it relative to like the pass rush and they can't get it? Secondly, it doesn't seem, from my angle, I'm curious on your input, does the passing scheme see less creative, not as many crossers, deep middles, things that would actually get him open?
Thanks for the call. I'm interested to see what they did in the first half to cover him. Like, what did it actually look like? See what Lagerman saw on the tape on Tuesday. He does that with you guys, right?
Yep.
I mean, was it really what Doug Peterson said? Oh, we changed the game plan in the second half and threw it to him, or was it, hey, we just couldn't get it to him because there's 3 guys around. The one that was intercepted there were 3 guys around him.
Right.
So,
I thought Doug was very matter of fact about it. You know, like, hey, we switched it up and realized we need to get the ball to Brian Thomas Jr. I think the game plan was, yes, get the ball out of Mac Jones' hands quickly, but get it to the backs and get it to the tight ends. And when that produced 0 points, they said, we got to shift this here somehow, and that's the move they made.
I have nothing more to add to that.
It's fair. Jaguars Jets next week.
Here we go.
Bank.
Aaron Rodgers in what will probably be his final appearance here
You think he's gonna? He's not coming back for a different team.
I'm willing to call this one.
Okay.
He was here in 2008 and he won with the Packers, and he was here in 2016 with the Packers and won. What will he do with the Jets?
Wasn't he here with the Packers when they played in that weird hurricane game here?
Against the Saints.
The Saints. Was he in that game, technically?
Yeah, he was.
You're right. He was.
See?
We were in the stadium.
We were here doing the pregame show.
During their game, yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird day. So, all right, next week.
So he's 3-0 here.
He's 3. Did they win that game? Yeah.
Yeah, Packers beat the Saints that day.
I'll take your word for it.
I don't remember. Jaguars, Jets, 1 o'clock next week at the bank. Be there. We'll see you there.
Let's go.
It's Brian Sexton. That's Mike Dempsey. I'm JP Shadrick. Thanks to David Cho, our entire crew, both here and in Nashville. Thanks to you for listening. If you didn't get in here, the 5th quarter is coming up. They'll take your calls the rest of the way after a Jaguars win 10-6 over the Tennessee Titans. This is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.